billionaire mocked the black waiter for his shoes. Minutes later, her daughter exposed the truth. Crystal Hall was so bright it almost hurt to look at. Golden light poured down from huge chandeliers. People in shiny dresses and black suits moved like they were on a movie set. Cameras flashed. Soft music played. It was the kind of room where people whispered about money in numbers with too many zeros. At the center table sat Elena Moore. She was a billionaire, and she looked like it. Diamond necklace, silver dress, perfect hair that never seemed to move. When she walked, people moved out of her way. When she spoke, people laughed, even if her jokes were not funny. A young black waiter walked up to her table, holding a tray of drinks. His name tag said Darius. His white shirt was clean. His tie was straight. But his shoes were old. They were black dress shoes, but the leather was cracked. The edges were worn down. One side had a small tear. You could tell he had walked many miles in them. Elena saw the shoes, and her red lips curled into a smirk. "Stop," she said, loud enough for several tables to hear. "Everyone, look at this." The music kept playing, but nearby guests went quiet. Darius froze, still holding the tray. Elena lifted her glass and pointed it at his feet. "We're at a $1 billion charity gala," she said, "and this is what they send me. Shoes from a trash can." Some people forced out small, nervous laughs. A man at her table added, "Maybe he walked here from last year's event." Darius felt heat rise in his face, but he kept his eyes down. The tray in his hands shook just a little. One woman at the table whispered, "Elena, that's a bit harsh." Elena rolled her eyes. "Please, if you want to be in this room, at least try to look like you belong." The words hit Darius like stones. For a second, the hall felt small and tight. He swallowed hard and pressed his lips together. He wanted to say something, to tell her what those shoes meant, but he also needed this job. Across the table, a girl in a simple blue dress stared at her mother in shock. She had brown skin, big curly hair pulled back in a ponytail, and angry tears starting to build in her eyes. Her name was Ava Moore, and she was Elena's daughter. Ava looked from her mother to the waiter, to the shoes. Her heart dropped. She had seen those shoes before, but not here, not like this. Ava's hands were clenched under the table, her nails dug into her palms. She watched Darius step back from the group of rich guests. He gave a tight nod, like her mother's words had not touched him. But Ava could see the way his shoulders sank, the way he bit the inside of his cheek. "Go on, it's fine," Elena said with a light wave of her hand, as if she were shooing away a fly. "Yes, Mum," Darius said softly. His voice was calm, but tired. He turned to serve another table. Ava felt sick. This was not new. Her mother made jokes like this all the time, about people who were beneath her, about workers, drivers, cleaners. She always said it was just humor, that people were too sensitive, but tonight, it felt different. Ava kept staring at the shoes. Something about them pulled on her memory. Cracked leather, deep lines across the toes, a tiny scratch near the side. She had seen them in a picture she had saved on her phone. Her mind raced back to a night, months before. She had been in her room, scrolling online, trying to feel less alone. Her mother was away on another trip, in another fancy place, saving another company. Her father had left years ago. That night, she saw a video of a man standing in front of a group of kids in a worn-down gym. His skin was dark. His voice was warm. He told them he used to sleep on the street, that he had only one pair of shoes, the same pair for years. He held them up in the video, cracked black shoes with the same lines, the same little tear. "These shoes carried me through my worst days," he had said. "One day, they will carry me into rooms that once locked me out." The video had made Ava cry. She remembered the title, Darius King, From Homeless to Hope, the man giving new shoes to 1 million kids. Ava's eyes widened, now as she watched the waiter move through the crowd. The same shoes, the same calm walk, the same quiet eyes. Her heart hammered. "Mom," she said slowly, "do you know who that waiter is?" Elena barely looked up from her phone. "A waiter with ugly shoes. That's all." Ava's jaw tightened. No. He was not just a waiter. Not just a man with ugly shoes. If she was right, he was someone her mother needed very badly, and her mother had just tried to tear him down in front of everyone. On the stage at the front of the hall, a host tapped the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, "tonight is not only about charity, it is also about vision. In a few minutes, we will welcome our honored partner, the mysterious Mr. King, who has agreed to invest in Mortec and save thousands of jobs." The crowd clapped and cheered. Elena finally put down her phone. A proud smile spread across her face. Mortec was her main company. Lately, the news had not been kind. Stocks falling, bad reviews, people saying she had lost touch with real life. This deal with Mr. King would fix everything. A new partner, a new story, a new hero by her side. "See, Ava," Elena said, "this is why you dress the part, why you act the part. People respect power." Ava looked at her mother, then at the workers moving around the room. The waiters walked fast and quiet, never bumping into the guests, never dropping a glass. The cleaners slipped in and out, clearing empty plates, wiping crumbs. They were everywhere. But no one saw them. No one. Except the girl in the blue dress. Ava watched Darius pass by again. Her heart pounded louder now. She took out her phone under the table and quickly opened the saved video. Her fingers shook as she paused the frame on his face. Clear brown eyes. Same jawline. Same small scar near his right eyebrow. She looked up at the waiter. It was him. It had to be him. Her chest felt tight. Why was he here, carrying trays, in those same old shoes? She zoomed in on the video. At the bottom of the screen, the name appeared again. Darius King, founder, King's Footsteps Foundation. King. Mr. King, the mystery investor. Her breath caught. Her mother had mocked him. In front of everyone. Ava heard the host on stage again. "Mr. King should be arriving any minute," she said. "His car is on the way." A man rushed up to Elena's side. It was Mark, her assistant. He leaned in and whispered, "His team just texted. Mr. King is already in the building. He came in early to see how things work." Elena smirked. "Good. Let him see how excellence looks." Ava's hand trembled. Her eyes went to Darius, who stood near the back wall now, placing empty glasses on a tray. Back straight, face still. He was already here. He had seen. And now, Ava knew something her mother did not. The truth was walking around this gala in an old pair of shoes. And if her mother didn't find out soon, the cost would be bigger than any deal she had ever made. Ava slid her chair back. "Where are you going?" Elena asked. "Restroom," Ava lied, not waiting for an answer. She weaved through the tables, her heart racing, her eyes locked on Darius. When he turned toward the kitchen doors, she followed. The moment he pushed through the swinging doors, the music grew faint. Inside, the kitchen was loud and busy. Pots clanged, ovens hummed, cooks shouted orders. Darius set his tray on the counter and rubbed his eyes for a second. "Excuse me," Ava said softly. He turned. For a second, he looked like any tired worker on a long shift. But his eyes, they were the same eyes from the video, kind, but sharp, as if they saw more than most people did. "Yes, miss," he asked. Ava swallowed. Are you Darius King?" A hush fell over that small corner of the kitchen. A few staff members nearby looked up. Darius studied her face. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he gave a small, knowing smile. "I was wondering when someone would notice," he said quietly. "Yes, I'm Darius." Ava's knees felt weak. "My mom, she didn't know." "I know she didn't," he said. "Most people like her never do." His tone wasn't angry, just tired, sad. "Why are you dressed like this?" Ava asked. "Why are you serving drinks?" Darius looked down at his shoes and gave a soft laugh. "I started my life serving people who never saw me," he said. "Tonight, I wanted to see if anything has changed. Before I sign papers, before I hand over my money and my name." He looked toward the doorway that led back to the gala. "I asked the hotel to let me work a shift," he said. "No one on your mother's team knows." "Not yet." Ava's heart twisted. "And now," she whispered, after what she said to you." Darius's jaw hardened for the first time. I was going to leave quietly, he said. Walk away from the deal. Put my money somewhere people are treated with respect. He reached up and untied his black apron. But then you followed me, he added. Why? Ava's throat ached. Because you changed my life, and you don't even know it. He looked surprised. Ava took a shaky breath. That video of you, with the kids, and the shoes. I watched it every night for a week. You said pain can turn into purpose. I was so angry at my mom, at this world, and you. You helped me not give up. His eyes softened. You're Elena's daughter, he said quietly. She nodded. Then tonight is not just about money, Darius said. It's a test for both of you. From the main hall, the host's voice echoed in. Please welcome our honored partner, Mr. King. The room waited. So did the cameras, but the man they were calling for was still standing in the kitchen, wearing cracked shoes, staring at a girl with tears in her eyes. Come with me, Ava said. Let everyone see who you are. The host's smile was starting to look stiff. Ladies and gentlemen, she said again, I'm told Mr. King is just outside the doors. One moment. The crowd murmured. Some guests checked their watches. Others whispered about stocks, about news reports, about how this one man could save a company. Elena sat tall at her table, face glowing under the lights. Of course he's late, she told her friends. People with real power always are. Then she stood and waved to the crowd, taking the mic from the host. Everyone, she said smoothly, while we wait, let me share why tonight matters. Cameras turned toward her. The room grew quiet. Mertech has always been about the future, she said. We build tools that change the world. And when I met Mr. King, this brilliant, generous man, I knew at once he understood my vision. At the back of the hall, the side doors opened. Ava and Darius stepped in. He still wore the white shirt and black pants of a server. His apron was now folded over his arm. His shoes were the same cracked ones everyone had laughed at. But something had changed in the way he walked. He no longer moved like a shadow. He walked like a man who owned every step. Ava's heart beat so fast she could hear it in her ears. She held her phone tight in her hand. On stage, a large screen lit up behind Elena. A video started. Images of children getting new shoes, laughing, hugging a smiling man. The narrator's voice filled the hall. He was once homeless. He slept under bridges. He walked miles with holes in his shoes. But he never gave up. A photo appeared of Darius, younger, holding up a pair of cracked black shoes. Those same shoes. Gasps echoed around the room. At age 25, he started King's Footsteps Foundation. The voice said, now, he has given new shoes, school supplies, and hope to more than 1 million children. A text flashed across the screen. Founder and CEO. Darius Kingelina smiled wide. This, she said into the mic, pointing at the screen, is the man we have been waiting for. People clapped and cheered. The host whispered, he's still not on stage. Elena laughed. Oh, he knows better than to keep me waiting much longer. Down on the floor, a woman at one of the front tables suddenly stood and pointed, eyes wide. He's here, she cried. He's right there. All eyes turned. To the black waiter. In the old shoes. Standing next to a teenage girl who looked like she had just walked out of a storm. A reporter raised his camera. The flash exploded as he snapped the first photo of the night's reel story. The room went utterly silent. Someone dropped a fork. It clinked loudly against a plate and then rolled onto the floor. Elena stared from the stage, her smile frozen. That's, she stammered. That's a waiter. Ava stepped forward, her voice shaking but strong. No, Mom, she said into the stunned quiet. That's Mr. King. The host, wide-eyed, held the mic out. Ava took it with both hands. Her fingers were cold, but her words were clear. This man, she said, pointing at Darius, is the same man on your screen. The man who gives new shoes to kids who have nothing. The man who came here tonight in the same old shoes that carried him through his hardest days. The video was still playing behind Elena. Pictures of Darius hugging kids, helping them try on brand new sneakers, standing in muddy streets with a gentle smile. Guests looked from the screen. To the man in front of them. To his shoes. To Elena. Whispers erupted. Is that really him? She mocked his shoes. At her own event. Darius walked toward the stage, each step heavy with history. He climbed the stairs slowly, not rushing, not hiding. When he reached Elena, he stood a few feet away, for a heartbeat. No one spoke. Then he said, calmly, "Good evening, Ms. Moore. Do you like my shoes?" A few people in the crowd gasped. Others covered their mouths. Elena's cheeks flamed red. Her voice came out in a small, sharp whisper trapped by the mic. I didn't know who you were." Darius nodded once. "You knew I was a worker," he said. "And for you, that was enough." The words hit the room like a bell. Ava's throat tightened. Tears ran down her face now. But she did not look away. Darius bent down and touched the leather on one shoe. "These shoes have walked through shelters, alleys, and boardrooms," he said. "They walked me to my first job. They walked me into the bank the day I made my first million. I wear them to remember where I came from." He straightened and looked out over the crowd. "Tonight, I wanted to see if this room was worthy of the help I can give," he said. "I wanted to see how you treat the people who serve you. Because how you treat them is who you are." You could almost feel the shame spreading through some of the guests, remembering the sharp words they had thrown at staff, the snapped fingers, the rolling eyes. He turned back to Elena. "I thought we might be partners," he said quietly. "But a partner who laughs at the people who carry her world on their backs, that is not someone I trust." Elena's hand tightened around her glass. "You can't do this," she hissed. "My company needs. Your workers need more." Darius cut in gently, and everyone waited to see what he would say next. Every camera in the room blinked red. Every phone was up, recording. Elena realized, too late, that nothing about this moment could be hidden. Not the video of children with new shoes. Not the pictures of this same man serving drinks. Not her own cruel joke about trash can shoes. She tried to fix her face into a polite smile. "Surely we can discuss this in private," she said through clenched teeth. "You don't understand the pressure I'm under. The board, the media. I was just joking." Darius studied her. "I know pressure," he said. "Pressure is trying to study in a noisy shelter. Pressure is watching your mother choose between rent and food. Pressure is hoping your shoes don't fall apart before you make it to the job interview." He paused. "You were not under pressure when you mocked me," he added. "You were comfortable." A soft murmur of agreement rose from the back of the room, where the workers stood. Elena swallowed. "So, what now?" she snapped. "You walk away. You let my company fall. You let thousands of people lose their jobs so you can feel holy?" Ava flinched. Darius looked out at the workers lining the walls, the waiters, the cleaners, the cooks peeking through the kitchen door. He took a breath. "No," he said. "I don't walk away from the people at the bottom. I never have." A flicker of hope stirred in the crowd. "I will still invest," he said. Gasps. Elena let out a shaky laugh of relief. "On one condition," Darius added. The relief died on her lips. "What condition?" she asked. "That you step down as CEO," he said. "Effective tonight." The room exploded in shocked whispers. "What? Is he serious?" "He can't." Darius went on, calm and clear. "The company will get the help it needs," he said. "The workers will keep their jobs. But the woman who thinks their worth is in their shoes and not their souls, she will no longer rule them." Elena stared at him like he had slapped her. "You're ruining me," she said, voice cracking for the first time. "No," he said softly. "I'm giving you a chance." He took a step closer, lowering his voice, but the mic still caught every word. "You will step out of your high heels," he said. "Out of your gowns. You will spend 1 year working with my foundation. In schools, in shelters, in streets, in these shoes, if they fit you." A small, stunned laugh rippled through the room at that. "You will walk where I walked," he said. "Then, if you still want power, you can try to earn it again. But this time, from the ground up." Elena looked at him, then at Ava. In her daughter's eyes, she did not see greed. She saw a quiet plea. "Mom," Ava whispered into a nearby mic a tech had dropped. "Please, take it. This is your second chance." Elena's hands shook. Her kingdom was on one side. her daughter's respect on the other dot and all around her. People waited to see who she really was. The news broke that night like a storm. Billionaire mocks black waiter. He turns out to be the mystery investor. Darius King demands CEO step down and walk in workers' shoes. Videos of the gala spread everywhere. People replayed the moment Elena laughed at the shoes. Then the moment she found out the truth. The clip of Ava's trembling voice. The quiet strength in Darius's eyes. Some people cheered him. Some attacked her. Many looked in the mirror and asked themselves, have I ever done the same thing? But the story did not end that night. It truly began the next morning. In a small school on the poor side of town, a black car pulled up. The door opened slowly. Elena stepped out. No diamond necklace, no silver gown, just a plain shirt, simple pants, and a pair of sturdy, cheap sneakers. They were not the old shoes Darius had worn. Those he kept. They were his reminder, his history. But he had sent her a box with a note. Start here. We'll see what you grow into. For weeks, then months, Elena traveled with the foundation team. She visited shelters and food banks. She helped hand out meals. She sat on hard benches and listened to stories of mothers who worked 3 jobs and still could not pay rent. At first, she was stiff, silent, always glancing at her watch. Then one day, at a shoe drive, she bent down to help a little boy tie his new sneakers. His old ones were full of holes. His toes peeked out. These are so cool, he said, wiggling his feet. Now I can run faster than anybody. Something in her cracked. She thought about the way she had pointed at Darius's shoes like they were trash. How small she had tried to make him feel. For the first time, her eyes filled with tears that were not about her own problems. Can I tell you a secret? She asked the boy. My shoes used to be the only thing I thought about. Now I'm trying to think about where they take me, and who I walk beside. He grinned, not fully understanding, but hugging her anyway, far away. In a quiet office lined with photos of kids and worn-out shoes, Darius watched the footage the team sent him. Elena, laughing with children. Elena, sweeping floors at the center. Elena, really listening to a single mom talk about choosing shoes or food. She's changing, Ava said softly beside him. Yes, Darius agreed. Slowly, but real roots grow slow. A year later, the world looked a little different. Murtec had new leaders, many of them people who had once sat in the cubicles no one noticed. The company now gave part of its profits to worker programs and community schools. At a special event, held not in a crystal hall, but in a sunny school gym, Darius stepped up to a simple wooden stage. Children sat cross-legged on the floor. Workers, teachers, and parents stood along the walls. Beside him stood Elena and Ava, both in simple clothes. No one here cared how expensive their shoes were. Today, Darius said, we start something new. The Walk in Their Shoes Scholarship. For young people who know what it's like to be judged by how they look, not who they are. He looked at Elena. Double quotes Ms. Moore. He said, would you like to say a few words? She took the mic, hands steady. Once, she said, I thought power meant being above people, looking down on them, making jokes so I could feel big. She glanced at Darius's shoes, which were new tonight, but still plain. Now I know, she went on, that real power is how gently you step on the ground that others sleep on, how you treat the ones who carry your food, clean your rooms, drive your cars. She turned to the kids. Don't let anyone tell you your value is in your clothes or your shoes, she said. Your value is in your choices, your heart, how you treat people who can do nothing for you. The gym filled with quiet, thoughtful faces. Then a little girl raised her hand. Miss, she asked, did it hurt when he told everyone what you did? Elena smiled sadly. Yes, she said. It hurt, it burned. But some pain wakes you up, and if you listen to it, it can turn you into someone better. Later, as the crowd thinned, Ava walked beside Darius outside the gym. You could have destroyed her, Ava said. You could have walked away. Darius shook his head. I'm not in the business of destroying people, he said. I'm in the business of changing paths. Shoes were out. People don't have to. Ava looked down at her own sneakers, white and a little dirty from the day. Thank you, she said, for giving her a second chance. For giving me one, too, he smiled. You gave me something too, he said. You spoke when it was hard. Remember this, Ava. Injustice doesn't survive long in rooms where even one brave voice tells the truth. As they walked back toward the gym, children ran past them, shoes thudding against the concrete, laughter echoing into the bright sky. No one cared how old or new those shoes were, only where they were going. Moral: never judge a person by what they wear or what job they do. True worth is in the heart, not the price tag. Power is not proven by how loudly you laugh at others, but by how gently you lift them up. And sometimes, the person you mock today, the one who will decide your future tomorrow,